We will move on to another section now, collaboration, and we have Lesley Baker talking to us. Lesley writes, having permanent works installed in public places can be very rewarding as well as financially lucrative. The challenge is building a portfolio and gaining the experience often requested. The organisations and designers hiring the artists want to be confident that the artist can complete quality work in a timely manner. The Herron School of Art and Design, at which she teaches in Indianapolis, uses real-world projects to educate students in this alternative career path. And I welcome Lesley to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation to be here. This is really exciting. My first time in Australia. I love it so far. So I'm going to be talking about, again, it's focused on our school, but this can also apply, beyond students just working public art projects and in the realm. But first of all, I wanted to just let you know where I really am located, just for you guys that don't know where Indianapolis is, close to Chicago. And then that's a picture of our school. So within our school, what I think is unique from other places I've been is that we actually have this, the Basile Center for Art, Design, and Public Life. It's within the art school. And it specifically is about finding projects for students. And you can see the mission statement there. We are very much also about civic engagement and working within our community. And here's a stick from our website, some completed projects. And the way they work, it's within the area. So there's one in the middle from ceramics. And that photo is actually of a student presenting a proposed piece to the client, which I'll get to in just a second. So public art, I'm hoping this is universal, but there are a lot of opportunities out there. And this is just, this is as high tech as I'm getting in my presentation, is the one web search of, that you can just go online and they're out there. And this is just one page of a long list of potential projects. And this is, again, this is for all of the US, many different locations. There'd be regional listings, different budgets. So you can see there's a great range of, one from $500, up to one that's for over $1 million. So you've got to look at these and discern them. So typically, these come out as a request for proposal. There'll be a summary of the opportunity, artist eligibility. This is the part that usually where people get stuck, is they want to see a resume of past projects. So it's like, how do you get that experience? So that's one thing we're helping provide the students with. And again, there'll be a calendar. So these are all the things that we look at, they look at. Is it a reasonable time frame? Can it be done? Are you even, I looked at one years ago when I was living in a city, and it was a 2-year-long project, and I wasn't planning on living there for 2 more years, so I didn't apply to that project. The budget, is it feasible? What are they looking for? What is their selection criteria going to be for? What's the process? Sometimes there's multiple, one pool of artists is selected from a larger pool. How long does that process take? And again, the submission requirements. So our process at Herron, we, through our director of the Basile Center, either that person finds projects, works with the community, or is contacted. And we've been doing this long enough that now we are contacted quite a bit from businesses or individuals seeking some potential artwork. That director then will come to the faculty, and we have the option of saying yes or no, or go back and say, this doesn't quite work for us. When you want, you go back and ask them if these things can happen. And I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, I reject whatever is brought to us. So it never even gets to the students, because they might be asking for something so specific. And it really is for us about retaining the creativity with the students. If they're not going to be able to voice or express their own art and grow as an artist, then we don't want to work with this project. So if somebody comes to us going, we just want the state of Indiana printed on something, we're not going to do it. That's not what we do. So if it does look good, and also I typically run it by the students first too, saying, hey, what do you think about this idea? Would you even be interested? If it is good, we will go ahead and go on with generating basically an RFP that is specific to the students. And a lot of times we will have an informal meeting, the client will come in. The students are not required to apply for any of these. If it works, again, within their time frame, within what they think they want to do artistically, then they can apply. So this is never a required thing of the students. And then as they're kind of proposing, the proposal could actually be a model, it could be a drawing. We've had smaller projects where they actually just make one piece that is like, okay, I will produce more of these. So just depending on what that is, we will give them feedback. And then they present that to the client. And typically they are chosen. We have actually had moments, times where they have actually come back going, we didn't like any of them, and it didn't go anywhere. Or we've had the client come back going, actually, we liked more, and we would like to pick more than one person or to do this project. So there's always some flexibility with how these goes. The students are paid. These are real-world projects. We negotiate and make sure they're getting paid a decent amount that's on par with what would be paid with an artist who's not in school. And then, over this, we basically make sure the students stay on schedule. We try to, stand back as much as possible just to make sure the students are, again, working on their own and understanding how to manage their own time and everything like that. So just some examples within what we've done in ceramics. Again, these range. So this isn't, when you think of public art, I think a lot of us think of just giant sculptures outside, and that's not everything that we do. Sometimes these are very small projects, and a student is commissioned actually just to make pieces. So in this case, the student was actually commissioned by the state, so this is by the governor's office for diplomatic trade gifts, and specifically her pieces were given to the King and Queen of Nigeria. So she's got a really interesting line on her resume now. I was like, not many people can say they're in the collection of the King and Queen of Nigeria, and you're still a student. So again, sometimes, these are nice, small, quick projects that we like to do. A larger project, we had 2 students get what we call the bench project, and these were going into a playground for the children's hospital. So it was actually, and the playground theme was very forest. There was going to be a giant tree, actual tree house. It was a tree that, so the pieces had to fit in within that theme of some way of natural. The other one, which I don't have in here, the student actually did a giant ant pile that was actually just clay with ants, cast bronze ants climbing through the ant pile, and that was the bench. But the largest one, which I'm going to show the most examples was murals. So people do think of clay, murals, mosaics, something easy to produce. So again, this was for the local children's hospital, and they requested 5 murals. So we actually proposed this to the students in a slightly different way and asked them to work as a team. We had 5 students that worked together to create the 5 murals instead of each one of them working individually. So that way we could create some consistency within the murals. The students, these were all handmade. One of the specifications was that there had to be a relief element that, let's say the placement of these murals was low. So this is a nurse's station. They wanted the children to be able to touch these. The other criteria or the definition of these, or what they wanted, was each one was an ecosystem. So they were all natural. And so in this case, there was a lot of freedom on what the students could do in terms of pretty much all we were given were, here's the paint colors that are going in there. So just kind of work around those paint colors, which is quite easy to do. So this is students with the installers and the contractor on site. And they installed, the students did not have to install, so all they had to do was provide them installation ready, so they backed them. So here again, one of the installers. Poor guys had to sit on the floor. So that's one of the murals. Some of the others, so they were given what they called ecosystems, and they asked them to do one of those around ponds. We did a Chinese garden. We also had the support, in Indianapolis we have Amoco, if you guys are familiar with that. And Amoco, one of the owners is there on the lower far right. They actually supplied the materials and the underglazes and the glaze for the project. So this was all their green thing. So the outcomes, the students gain real world experience. They learn how to present a concept outside. So this is to the clients. They learn to work with a budget. They learn to schedule their time and include that as part of their budget. And they learn to find projects that work with their ideas and style. And that's very important. What we really get across is don't sacrifice your individuality as an artist. And this is the happy and very stressed out students at the end of the project. All right, so I am done. Thank you.